Okay, so today on the workbench, I got 5 prints. I need to tear these down and cut down the backboards for these. I've got 1 print that I need to recut a mat for, and then I got 2 prints that I need to cut mats for. So here's my mat cutter. I use a Logan Compact Elite. It's a model 350-1. So this print I marked at 10 and 0 inches. Prior to ripping it, I'm going to use the mat cutter for a square. It's got a little lip on it down here. Line up on my 10-inch mark, make 2 marks. Line up on my 0 mark and make 2 marks. I don't cut everything. Some things are better ripped. This is a natural edge of the paper. It has what it's called a decal on it. When you rip the paper, it simulates a decal. So I'm going to use a steel ruler with cork backing. The cork kind of grips the paper. I'm going to line up on my marks and rip. Line up on my marks and rip. Now I just got to do that 4 more times. So to cut my backboards, I'm going to use the straight cutter. It comes with the Compact Elite kit. So back to the cutter, I position the backboard with the line on the rail, and I use the straight cutter on the rail, and it fits into the rail. And there it's cut. Perfect. And then I got 4 more to do. There's 2, and there's 3, and there's 4, and there's 5. 5 backboards and 5 prints. I'm going to set these aside and we'll stamp them and put them in the acetates on a different day. This one I'm going to cut down to a smaller size so it'll fit inside the mat. I don't care if it has the deckled edge look on it because it's going to be under a mat. This one also needs a signature. Some rainy warning, printed by DM. Marking it to cut on the mat cutter. The mat cutter doesn't only cut mats. I cut boxes. I cut a lot of things. If I have to cut a straight edge, I use that cutter. So I'm lining up the print on the rail. This time I'm not using the square because I squared off of the print. I'm using my straight cutter. Fits onto the rail. Easy breezy, lemon peasy. 3 and the 4th side. So this is now small enough to be mounted. So I'm recutting this mat to fit this print. So this edge over here will be 1 11/16, and this will be 1 5/16, and it will frame this perfectly. Back at the mat cutter, I set the scale. I'm going to set my scale to 1 5/16. Set my board down, set the rail down, and mark the cut line on both sides. Now my other dimension is 1 11/16. So I'm setting the scale to 1 11/16. I set my mat board down face down. I'm marking the back of the board, 1 11/16. Take my mat out, put the rail down, put the slip down, and I put my board in. Now this is the bevel cutter. The bevel cutter fits on the rail and line up the center line with the cut line. Push in the blade and cut the bevel over to the other cut line. Push in the blade, go over to the other cut line. And 1 more cut. Line up the center with the cut line. Push in the blade and go to the other cut line. And there's a bevel cut mat. Yeah, let's see how she looks. Perfect. So this backboard, print, and mat, I'm going to set to the side, and I'll assemble them on another day. So this print I'm going to cut down to fit in the mat. And take my ruler, make some marks, leave room for a signature, mark side 3, and mark the top. Then I'm going to cut down this print using the straight cutter. Cut 2, cut 3, and cut 4. I'm going to mark the mat at 2 1/8. Set the scale 2 1/8. Lay down the mat, mark at 2 1/8. I'm going to reset my scale to 2 5/16. Lay down my mat, 2 5/16. So that's the back of the cutout. Lay down my slip sheet using my bevel cutter, set it into rail, line the mark, push in the cutter over to the other mark. On the mark, cut to the other mark. Rotate my mat, cutting at 2 1/8. I reset my scale, place my mat, line up the cutter with the center mark on the cut line, push in the blade over to the other cut line. Rotate my mat, bevel cutter, center mark on line, over to other cut line. And that'll drop right out of there. And let's see how she fits. Fits perfect. One more to go. And here's our print. So I'm going to cut this board for this print. First I'm going to cut down this print for this board. I don't care about the decal when it goes into a mat. So I'm just going to cut it using the cutter. Marking one side, mark the bottom, mark side 3, and mark the top. Line up the print on the cutter rail. 1 straight cut, 2 straight cuts, 3 straight cuts, and a 4th straight cut. Mat board goes face side down. It'll be marked and cut on the back. Now back to the cutter. Mark the back, mark the back. Mark one side, mark the other side. Lay down my slip board, bevel cutter, center mark on the cut line, press in the blade, push to the other cut line. Center mark on the cut line, push in the blade, the other cut line. Line the center mark of the bevel cutter on the cut line, push in the blade, the other cut line. Bevel cutter on the rail, line up the center mark on the cut line, push the other cut line. And here's the print. Let's see how this mat fits. Perfect. And we'll set this aside for assembly on another day. So if you enjoyed cutting mats with me, hit the like button and check out the link to my Etsy site and subscribe. And we'll see you the next time I vlog Moscow.